I'm going to give it over to you, Christian. Some commentary from both Gary and Sandra about the Quebec election, moving into the language laws. I'd love to get your sense of the Quebec economy as a place for investment, given these language laws.
Yeah, I would say now we're back in business. Let's put it this way. Of course, the election, there were some high political considerations. If you see the CAQ, they want to take the PQ, they want to eat the PQ's lunch, they want to eat the Parti Libéral lunch. And this is what they succeeded to do, and they wedge against the leftist Solidaire. But now, on a practical basis, let's see the investments. They are higher than ever. Montreal is in very good shape. You can see in the northern Quebec, the investments in mining sector is open for business. And when you deal with the French issues with the labor, there are ways to modulate, and there's a lot of accommodations on this regard. But unfortunately, of course, when you are right in the middle of an electoral campaign and you raise these points as wedge issues, it can send a strong signal on the opposite. But if you look, the reform that was made by the current government to Investissement Québec now is focused on business. It's run by professionals knowing very well the economy, being very practical about attracting investors. They behave as a concierge service, and we just have good comments about that. But this is the caveat that I wanted to add on this point. You have the politics on the side, you have the economy on the other side, and now hopefully we're back in business and we're not distracted with some bold stuff that we heard there recently.
I'd like to change the topic. Other news item this week, a big news item was in the United Kingdom, the mini budget of the new Prime Minister Liz Truss and her Chancellor did not excite the markets the way that they had intended. Let's put it that way. And at the party conference this past weekend, they had to walk back their attempts to reduce taxes for the higher income earners. Is there a cautionary tale in there somewhere? Sandra, put it to you first, and I'd love to get your thoughts as well, gentlemen. Sandra?
Yeah, I just have to say, in these days, trust with political figures, I think, is key. And it isn't even about issues anymore. It's, can I trust what they say, that they're going to do what they say, etc. So to have that complete reversal instantly in the first week of her leadership, I think is quite damning in the long term. This will be thrown back at her every day on every issue, that she's reversed herself. So what she says actually isn't what she means. It's just worse in the UK because their political structure is such that their party elects their leader. So if her own caucus gets really, sort of raked over the coals in their constituencies, etc., that's going to come back and potentially could take her down. And the general public will have nothing to say about that. Because really, the only people who should be really angry are those top earners, which is actually a fraction of the population. The general public could be very happy that she walked this back, but her own party members, the supposed business party, could well be furious, and that could be the death knell for her leadership at a very early stage.
Gary, what were you thinking when you were observing what was going on overseas there?
That I'm glad I'm not a British MP. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to really to disagree with Sandra on any of this. I mean, the system is different than what we have in Canada, but it is a cautionary tale about getting too far ahead of yourself and really being ideologically driven in your public policy, in this case, on their position on taxes. And so I think that Sandra's right. I think that Prime Minister Truss is going to be wearing this for a while. It's not the way that any of us all of us as former politicians would ever want to come out of the gate, following a new leadership, race. None of us would want to come out of the gate like this. And I think members of Parliament with the Conservative Party are going to be a little more careful about what they approve of Liz Truss's ideas going forward.
Christian, were you able to observe any of this, or were you all enveloped with the Quebec election?
I was quite enveloped with the Quebec election, but just one point, I'm not as expert as my colleagues here, but going in a way and going backward, it's not good at all. Sometimes you need to just throw some rocks in the water, wait and see. instead of going bold and going back, it's just, that will stain her leadership for a while, for sure.
I think
You know,
all four politicians on this program will agree that that was not a good look.
Right.
So
It was almost excusable if she was coming from outside, but she was in
from
the
the
government.
inside, she was in the government. We got to take another break, Sandra. Sorry, we'll be back after these short messages.